Have you ever wondered why communism has never worked? From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. That's the big communist slogan. And it sounds kind of noble, but in practice, it actually destroys the very motivation that fuels society. Because under a system like that, the more capable you seem, the bigger the burden that you have to carry for the rest of the collective. You have to work harder than everyone else, but your needs are the same as everyone else's. So even if you're asked to bear a bigger burden, your reward stays the same and doesn't actually compensate for all your hard work. So really, your ability turns into a curse. And here's how victimhood becomes a survival strategy. The less your neighbor can do or convince other people that he can do, the lighter his load. Your neighbor may have a sprained ankle, but he might pretend that it's a permanent limp, so he doesn't have to plow his field. He doesn't have to do his part for the collective. But his needs are still met, and you're doing the hard work to compensate for his lack of work. In a system like this, the losers are the people who have too much self-respect to con the system. But the weight of the system falls entirely on them. The winners are those who hide their strength and lean into their weakness. Soviet workers summed it up with one joke. We pretend to work, they pretend to pay us. When effort is no longer connected to a reward, the effort disappears. And this is why in communist societies, the production completely collapses. And this is what has led to all of those famines that have claimed millions and millions of lives. Because the food supply evaporates all because of one simple human truth. Why should I work hard if I'm not going to be rewarded for my hard work? This is also why that communist utopia of equality turns into a totalitarian nightmare. When the incentives are gone, how do you force an entire population to work? You use fear, you use terror, you use arrests, you use execution. So basically, you force them at the barrel of a
Interesting. I saw this clip and I was like, yo, G and I gotta do this. I know G, you have an entirely different perspective on, how things should go in society than I do. So what's your thoughts on what old girl had to say?
Oh man. So I think that's an easy perspective and narrative to take. The question about communism and the work, the motivation to work to do what? So
Live,
when
survive. Like
no
I think everyone's motivation is to just make a better
no
life for themselves and their family.
no, so we have, when we're having the dialogue between capitalism and communism, when we talk about work, we aren't talking about labor. We're talking about a capitalistic industrial system that's driven by profits. So if in a communist society in which people are not chasing the industrial advancements, or the countries that are promoting poverty through capitalism, right? Then there's a opportunity to reevaluate value. But if we have systems that are geared towards capitalism and banking rules, etc., that go towards putting the interest, or the emphasis on profit margins instead of fulfillment, people do broke people get up and do shit every day without the need to go get money. But the system is you start to, from comparison, you feel limited to what you have accessible to you.
Well, let's take it out of like the financial, industrial, all that stuff that you do, because she specifically mentioned plowing the fields, right? So in a communist society, she talked about the Soviet Union. She said, "Yo, if you got two people, one person is better at plowing the fields than the other one, fakes has a sprained ankle, but he's like, listen, I don't just have a sprained ankle, my fucking leg is broke. I can't work no more, but I still should be able to have the same life as the person that's plowing the fields and doing that stuff." So what's your perspective on that? Like, do you think that the person that's not working should be afforded the same lifestyle as the person that is working and plowing the fields?
No, I think that
Under
there's
this society is what I'm saying. Under your utopian, everybody share the wealth society. If we take the banking industry out, take student loans out, take all
take
that shit
it.
out.
So
If we're in an industry, if we in a hunting and gatherer times,
mhm.
should the person that's not hunting and gathering for whatever reason be afforded the same luxury as the person that is hunting and gathering?
Yes, and this is seen in societies that cooperate in cooperation. So in the societies where some hunter gatherers, there would be medicine men, there would be shamans, there would be educators. So you find a role in society for the people, and
No,
then
no, no, no. But that wasn't her argument. Was both people are field workers.
I hear her argument is based off of a particular circumstance in which it's limited, right? You're saying like it's based off two workers.
But let's do, instead of making our own scenario, let's
So,
go with her scenario. If
her scenario.
me and you are both plowers, right?
Right.
My ankle gets broken and I can't fucking plow anymore, right?
Right.
And that's my only job. I'm not a healer. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
a shaman. I'm not a fisher. I don't do shit else but plow.
Right.
But you're the plower. You plower it a month. You crushing all the plowing. You planting shit. You Johnny Appleseed. Should I be afforded the same lifestyle that Geo, the master plower, as Ty, the non-plower? Should you and I have the same lifestyle?
You should have the same access to freedoms. Yes.
That didn't answer my question. Should we both live in the same nice plushy house and have the same access to food?
Yeah. If my leg broke,
bruh, this is insanity. This is absolutely insane. Like, explain this to me. Explain this to me. Please explain this to me.
I'll try. Hold on. I didn't eat, so let me do my snack. No. Okay. The circumstance. If we have two people working the same job, if one person is cheating the system, fuck no. So if we find out this person is cheating the system, then they just get like, all right, well, you can't be trusted.
So in my case, in my scenario, I'm faking an ankle injury, right? Or I have a sprained ankle, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out for the next 2 years. I can't plow this shit no more. And I let you take the burden on all the plowing.
Yeah.
Should I be afforded the same lifestyle that you have?
No, but we talking about, so like it's hard for me. No, you should not. But we talking about
so I should be eating worms and licking dirt, basically, in that situation.
No, because that's not a necessity. Is it do we have enough? How much work do I need to do to feed it? Like if we're working as a community.
I'm doing none. I'm doing none of the work. You're doing all the work. So should I be able to take from your work and give to myself?
Your question involves scenarios of ethics. You're asking if they're cheating. If they're cheating, then no. If they're hurt, then yes. If they're cheating, then they should be outlawed from it. Right? But we have the means to figure out if somebody's cheating. So we have X-rays, etc.
I'm cheating and I'm lying and I'm not as hurt as I
then
claim to be.
Don't get
I
shit.
should be on the street starving and I should be able to die because of that situation.
No, you get a bare minimum like access. Like that isn't the same option.
Like I'm just able to live,
yeah, like you want to be lazy, go be lazy. But like you ain't gonna like you don't get the same benefits of the working class. So in that situation, in terms of like those that want to be lazy, like bro, if you want to lay around and chill all day, bet that's all you want to do, but don't expect steak, right? Damn, my bad. If you aren't doing anything, if you like, yo, I just want to lay around all day, I don't really want to do nothing. All right, no, that's cool, bro. You gonna get like your TV, your room, all that shit, but like you not getting no steak. Okay, you know, like you get the noodle package, like you know what I'm saying. You get the lazy nigga package, like yo, like what package did you want? Like just know that like it's a trade off with society. So that and that.
But let me let's take it to modern times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that same logic apply to, let's say, all right, so say you have a doctor, right, an MD doctor, in Chop Hospital somewhere, and then you have a cashier at Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that those two people in Geo's ideal society, should those two people be living the same standard of life? Like, should they have access to, a shore house? Should they have being able to go to Bora Bora every holiday if they want to? Like, should the cashier and the doctor have the same life standard?
So now your question comes into modern times, and we're talking about an industrial system. Mm-hmm. So now we're talking about an industrial system, and you're talking about like, all right, well, what's the value of this work? My ideals are going to challenge the entire system in terms of exchange. The doctor, if by choice wanting to be a doctor and having the opportunity to fulfill their pursuit to be a doctor, and they go on that journey, that's their own journey. If the person choose by self, like, hey, I like to help people and I want to work in that, then they get to experience that life. but the value of that is placed differently on different people. The thing issue that we have currently with our system is that money is the emphasis. So you have people in society that don't provide no little to no value to society, but they're able to collect large amounts of money. Kardashians versus the teachers. Prime example of there's discrepancies of where that same system that you're talking about, where it's supposed to be a value base, is not working like that in our
I would
current
disagree.
system.
I think the Kardashians provide a lot of entertainment value to a lot of hoes that like to watch their shit.
No, but see, the entertainment value is of lesser value than educational or medical value. And
I
then
would
now we're
disagree with
talking
that.
about
I would disagree with that because you and I will support the NFL and the NBA because we value that form of entertainment. It's not something
no,
those basketball players and those football players aren't doing anything magical for society. We
no,
just value that entertainment. So
that's
so they get paid as such. They get paid more than firefighters, cops, teachers, all that shit because their value we put their like it's us putting that value. Now we could not pay attention to basketball. We could not pay attention to football, and they could get paid the same as arena football players get paid. But we choose to do that, so that's our choice of doing that. So that's not some system
but
doing that. These are the consumers who dictate who should make that kind of money. It's not a
what's up.
surprise that the female basketball players, the WNBA players, don't make a fraction of what the NBA players do because their entertainment value isn't as high.
No, it says that last point particularly goes back to there's a system of business and marketing and manipulation that exists that has coincided with the expansion of the industrial world that we live in. So that system is really a system that manipulates people to buy things or to be into things that they wouldn't normally be in. And these
No,
systems,
I disagree. Are, are, are
you
you and
disagree that
I's interest in
marketing
that?
exists?
I agree that marketing exists, but you and I don't watch basketball because of marketing. We watch basketball because we like basketball.
No, we place a higher consideration of for basketball and its value based on the systems that we were born into in terms of what's acceptable behavior.
I disagree. I think if you and I found the female basketball game more entertaining, we would watch that. No system
So
could trick us into
when
believing
you're
that that's not the
talking
case.
about entertainment is a result. So we started this conversation earlier without like if we were in the hunter gathering times. Entertainment is a result of a freedom that we have. So then now we're talking about something that is a luxury of time, that is an advancement that shows that we don't have to work as much as we do. Thus, the questioning of the system has to occur. If we are able to spend so much of our money on entertainment, on all of these things, there is an abundance of time that we have to be spending on these things. But the system is set up to spend our time in a way that we're working in exchange for the money to do this. But there's a small group of people that are benefiting more than the collective. And so that's not working either. And so trying to find a balance.
But gee, that's always the case. Even in a communist society, the people that benefit the most are the people who distribute the wealth. Like they all like in every society that has ever implemented communist ideals or idealization, the people don't benefit the most. It's a small group of people who benefit the most. That has always been the case.
I'm a consciousness person. The reason why that is because the people aren't usually consciously empowered. There are histories of civilizations such as the Mayans, etc., that where people lived in a fulfillment-based society in which each individual was able to go on a journey of self-fulfillment and accomplish that which they deemed valuable for them, but
it
wasn't.
There was still a ruling class who dictated what everybody else's rules.
The ruling class in some civilizations that we don't often hear about were like the Mayan civilizations or other.
But they had a royal family.
No,
that
but
dictated
like
how shit went down.
But that the people empowered the people through their governance to be self-empowered. There are examples of that.
So are you saying the Mayans are an example of a communist society that where if we implemented rules based off that, the world will be better? Or are you saying
I'm
the Mayans are an
I'm
example?
saying
of
that the Mayans are an example of a group of people using the power to empower the people, and other indigenous civilizations are.
But G, they enslaved people. They didn't.
So
They
there's
went into other areas and was like, hey, you group of people are slaves. Do what we want you to do. So I would imagine that their local citizens benefited from the fucking slave labor that they forced other people to adhere to.
So when we talk about the Mayans, we talk about a long history of over 2,000 years, right? That's why I said other indigenous groups. There are other indigenous groups, and there are different time sects where rulers of a certain time were able to produce high efficiency. We've seen this in Egypt and other areas
Yes, nigga,
of
it was off the
enlightenment.
back of people that they enslaved.
That is the historical narrative. But the
So
history.
you
I'm
have a
not
different
saying that.
narrative.
No. That the historical narrative of slavery is from our interpretation of ruins and finds, but we do not have factual evidence of that of like the pre-civilization. So a lot of the history that we look at, we try to date it, but it's actually older. And so
Gee, let me ask you a question.
yes, sir.
What is the society that we should model ourselves after that would be great today?
So but the reality of it is that the Tyrese, that's the question that you're asking me is limited in terms of we literally live in the future, so we get to discuss a new type of system that may not have been seen before. And because we have tools such as AI, robots, etc., we have the capacity to discuss a society that isn't as dependent on manual labor and more consciously open to all of the things that we know to be true. And because we live in the future, we can have those discussions now.
But the things that you mentioned that give us a leg up versus the societies in the past are the product of capitalist
No,
the fruits of capitalism.
no, it's not. All of the inventions that all the inventions that make up the world are creations of self-fulfillment. Inventors, scientists, etc., are those that they come up with an idea in their mind and then they go to pursue it. Now, capitalism drives that by funding research. And the capitalism holds on to that information, but it does not drive it. Self-fulfillment drives the expansion.
Communist societies flourished in history
because capitalistic societies got more guns.
So why okay, but if the communist system was a better system, why wouldn't they just
I didn't say communist was better. I'm saying that we have yet to discuss a new system in which we embrace the expansion, industrialization of capitalism, but we do it with respect and regard to the resources that are natural to our environment, and we collectively work together to make sure that all of our society is working to the benefit of the collective. And there are conversations that we can have.
Okay, but this is the last question I'm gonna ask before we end this. All right, you didn't answer this question earlier, so I ask it again. Yeah. So, in a communist system, should the head surgeon of Jefferson Medical Hospital and the head cashier at McDonald's should they have the same standard of living?
They should have access to the same standard of living.
No, that didn't answer my question. Should they both be going on vacation? Should they be both flying private? Should they be both having a shore house? Should they be both having mistresses and banging people in fucking Barbados?
Yes.
They both should have the same standard of living.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is where we disagree.
So no, listen, let me ask you a question. Please. Should the OnlyFans model and the top surgeon at Jefferson live the same lifestyle?
It depends on who. It depends on who brings value. It depends. Like if a bunch of niggas is supporting the top OnlyFans model.
Oh my god, bro! We are doomed. You're doomed. There's no way you okay with the OnlyFans model making it.
Does it suck? Do I agree with it? No, but I think teachers should make more money than professional athletes. But our lived experience tells us that's never going to happen because
that's not
you and I.
I don't work like that.
We'll watch the finals. We're not going to watch a fucking spelling bee. We're not.
I'll watch a spelling bee.
You fucking capping. You be fucking. So
I be joking. I be joking. I'm watching the finals. I'm watching the finals.
Okay,
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Then you put a fucking value on the goddamn finals over the spelling bee.
But I'm also acknowledging that that's a result of programming that like we should be able to discuss.
I'm not buying a programming shit because you're smart enough to be not programmed. You could unplug yourself fucking tomorrow. I don't believe that the program is bigger than your brain. You can unplug yourself immediately. You can do it.
There's a collective. They're like literally like nigga, you've known me. You've known me when I tried to like go out off the system. It's almost impossible. Remember, I was like, enemy of the state, and I'm not doing shit and all that. Like it's almost impossible to win that game because the collective people like yourself, they don't believe in other possibilities.
Put on the fucking finals. They can't.
They can't make me put on the finals, but you become defeated in a sense, and it's sad.
So defeated Gio watched the finals over the spelling bee. That's
defeated Gio watched the finals.
So that takes all.
I know better.
You.
I know better, but I'm like, fuck it, bro. It is what it is. I want to see LeBron. I want to see if LeBron will get the chip, dog. It is what it is. That's where we at. Right. That's where we at. I'm consciously choosing to participate in debauchery. That's all. I'm consciously choosing.
All right, well, listen. Let's know what y'all think, family. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.
Hey.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?